Milwaukee's historic beer district is raising a glass, celebrating a special accolade from a national publication. It's being recognized for a unique business model that's breaking barriers. Jenna Wells introduces us to the two best friends behind the big idea.
10 months have flown by at Pilot Project's Milwaukee Brewery.
I think the first year was really getting people familiar with what the heck is this thing. We're a business that hasn't really ever been done in our industry.
Pilot Project will celebrate 1 year in the old Milwaukee Brewing Company space this November. It's their second and largest location. They opened in Chicago in 2019.
It was an easy and a no-brainer of a move to come up to Milwaukee, knowing that Chicago has a very strong craft brew scene, and Milwaukee kind of has a very traditional beer scene in general. This space in particular being really close to and in the old Pabst district, it's fun to see the history around it.
It all began with a bromance.
My business partner Dan and I, we've known each other since we were 5 years old. We've been best friends pretty much ever since.
Jordan Radke and Dan Abel are the minds behind the operation.
I think we were always the ones that, were interested in craft beer and wanting to be entrepreneurs, and so it was kind of a little foreshadowing in college of wanting to do something together.
After both pursuing careers in different spaces, the longtime friends eventually found themselves back home in Chicago. And like many stories go, the idea was sparked in a garage while homebrewing. But there was a twist.
All of the cliche stories, but the catch was that instead of saying, hey, we're really good at this, we should go launch a brewery, we asked ourselves, what does it take to launch a brewery?
They wanted to host a space where brewers can create their products and give them the tools to tap, can, and distribute.
We said, well, let's build resources, let's lower the barrier to entry for this industry so that more creatives, a wider swath of people, more diversity, more innovation can actually enter it.
With this concept, brewers wouldn't need to open a standalone brewery to make their beer.
That can be a choice later on in the evolution of your business, but it shouldn't be the piece that plagues you getting started. We have the production capabilities to produce your products. We then have storage, cold storage, warm storage for raw materials and the finished product. And then we actually have our own sales team.
Since their beginning in Chicago, Pilot Project expanded to Milwaukee and has partnered with 15 companies.
We have scaled certain brands to upwards of about 25 different states.
Along with tasty drinks, the Milwaukee space is aesthetically pleasing. 75,000 square feet with a beer garden, a rooftop, tours, and a full menu.
We do beer, we do it well, and we can do food along with it and have a really fun atmosphere, even though we have 90-degree summers and 0-degree winters.
By reducing the industry's barriers, Pilot Project has helped open doors for diverse brewers.
We've launched Funky Town, who are the second black-owned brewery to ever launch in Chicago. We've launched a brewery called Azadi Brewing. They're an Indian-inspired brewery. We've launched 7 woman-owned brands.
Their unique model seems to be working. This summer, USA Today nominated Pilot Project for their 2023 list of the best beer bars in the United States.
We got a notification that we were nominated by the USA Today editors, and it was a very humbling email to read, and so we didn't know what would come of that. Because there was a lot of strong other nominees on that list across the whole nation.
To determine the list ranking, nominees are voted on by the public. And Pilot Project's recent popularity paid off. On August 4th, USA Today published their list of the 10 best beer bars in the U.S.
A day after they closed the polls, they sent out an email to us and told us we won it.
Number 1, Pilot Project.
It was a shock to me, for sure, and certainly a thank you to everyone that went out there and voted.
For Jordan and Dan, it was validation that they're doing something right.
I think we have a very unique business model, and getting publications like that just further cement, like, we're here to stay, and we're doing something that's working.
The award also solidifies their mission to keep the industry growing, and it's all in the name.
Pilot is the first batch of something that you produce. The ongoing project is the fact that we are working with brands that are ever evolving, ever changing.
With a year to introduce themselves to the Brew City, Pilot Project is ready for the future.
We have certainly spent the last, 10 months, I suppose, here continuing to learn and continuing to adapt.
Next year and the year after, it's more about having fun.
So it's important for